Hey guys, how are you doing today? Thank you for joining us. I'm here with the amazing Margherita again, and we are talking abundance and love today. Hi Margherita, how are you doing?
Hello, hi. I'm very good, thanks. And you? How are
Oh,
you?
very well, thank you. I'm back in the UK. We are in the same time zone again, so really
Yeah.
looking forward to these sessions. So let's build on what we talked about last week. Um,
Mhm.
and what's the connection between abundance and love? How I kind of get it, but not really. So how do you see that, or how do you do
Right.
tell?
Yeah, so the topic of today is how abundance is connected with love. So last week we talked a little bit about abundance. We touched upon a few concepts of love, but this week I want to expand a bit more. And of course, this comes from also my personal experience, my personal stories during this week. So,
Ooh, brand new
from
stories. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
so from the conversations that I had with people, from the conversations with my clients, and from the topics and conversations that I had with my students, because this week I did a ThetaHealing class, the Soulmate class, which is the course where we really talk about love. So when we talk about love, actually we understand that uh, there is a concept called love, but what is this really about? So I want to just tap a little bit into this. I'm not going into all the details, but I just wanted you to know from a theta healing perspective, let's say. So feel free to disagree with what I'm gonna say. It's just my point of view, my perspective. Everything I say is not written in a book, not necessarily. It's a mix. It's a combination of things that I experience myself, that I see happening in the world to other people, people close to me, that I read in books, that I listen to on other channels. So it's just an integration of everything according, of course, to my vision and perspective. So don't take it as the highest truth. Feel free to disagree, feel free to comment. I'm just telling you what my vision and perspective is, so that maybe I can be useful to you, in service to you, and I can maybe trigger your brain to think a little bit out of the box.
I totally believe in that, you are hearing messages all over again, right? But there is one point when you're really ready to hear that message. So guys,
Mhm.
whatever resonates with you, take
Yeah,
that with you. If it's not resonating with you, then just leave it. And maybe if you watch it in 3 months time again, then you will get a different message. So that's why I love these, because it's just maybe that will be, one point for someone out there who is just like, oh yes, now it makes sense, right? So really looking forward
yeah.
to it.
And remember that I come from science, so this didn't make sense to me for a long time. So I
Hmm.
know I've been through that as well. So it's okay. Right. So what is love? Basically, it's a it's a very big container. It's a big concept. So when we talk about love in Theta Healing, we say that there are different levels of love. Um, the first level of love is the love that is the energy of the connection between us as individuals and the universal bigger source of energy of all that is. That's the first level. And it is the first level, so it's the basic level of love, because as we said last week, talking about the law of oneness, it's important that we understand that we are all part of it. So let's say the glue that keeps us together is the energy of love. And we are all connected all the time to this beautiful energy. Sometimes we don't consciously understand that. Sometimes we somehow resonate with that idea, but we don't know what that is really about. And maybe it's because we have some blocks, some fears, or maybe we are just taught a different kind of things or dogmas from society, from family, from school, from religion, whatever cultural system you want to name. It's okay. We have many. Politics, I mean, it can be anything really. But it's important for us to understand that there is this connection in place and is available and is there for every single one of us. And this connection is based on this energy, which is love. So just to say that the universal energy is love. So it's a positive vibration and it's love. The second level of love is love for yourself, which may or may not sound weird to someone, because maybe you don't know, or you don't understand, or you have never thought about the difference between self-love and being selfish, or self-love and egotism. So they are completely different kind of concepts and energies.
Yeah, I would say that's something that comes from society as well, right? So putting yourself in front of someone else's needs is called selfish, and but obviously, you know, we understand these days that you cannot give from an empty cup, for example, right? So it is something what you need to concentrate on, and that's why I love that you named it as the second level and not the third level. But the little monkey in my head was still like, okay, but I think people learn to love others before they love themselves, or you know, maybe when they are a baby or something, then you know, that's when you love yourself more than the others. But after that, is that a social thing, or
can be many things? So it depends. It depends. It is you have to look at the specific individual and the belief system of that specific person to really answer this question. There is no one size fits all, because we all have different experiences. So it's hard to say where it comes from. But yes, of course, the collective consciousness has a very big impact on the things that we learn. So just to mention why self-love is a basic level of love before all the others, so before the love for someone else and communities and friends and partners and animals and the world, is because loving yourself for who you really are and accepting yourself for who you really are, it's a very big, huge challenge. So it's a very important lesson that we all need to learn. And if you love yourself, if you accept yourself for who you really are, you can then accept others for who they really are. So you will, let's say, evolve from judging and just looking at what is missing in somebody else, and go to the next step, which is seeing and understanding why that person is beautiful, is magnificent, what is the real beauty of the human being that is in front of you. And when you see that, it means that you are able to see it also in yourself, because remember that we are all mirroring each other. So that is the reason why, let's say the main reason why self-love comes first. And just remember that we are talking about self-love and not being selfish or egotism. Okay, so self-love comes from an energy of love. And if we want to talk about chakras, it's the heart chakra, right? Instead, if we talk about being selfish, egotism, that is, by the way, an unbalanced energy that has to do with lower chakras. And it's an unbalance, it's not a proper flow of balanced energy. Right.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. So, why am I mentioning love, connecting to abundance and evolution? Because I was thinking that, of course, when I was at school, when I was at university, with my scientific mind, I was studying, of course, what evolution is. And from what I remember, evolution as we learn it at school, and even in, let's say, normal science practice, let's say, it's based on the concept that the strongest is winning over the weakest, and maybe the smartest is more powerful because is able to develop, I don't know, new weapons, and can kill maybe a lion, who is the king of the forest, so the most powerful animal in nature, and you survive. And yes, that's a great story of evolution in ancient times.
Yeah, right.
Meaning that, of course, we need that level of survival. And for that, yes, we need to use our brain to cope with the survival mechanism in order to be physically present in this physical world. Because, of course, if you die, you are not, you don't have the chance to be here in a physical body anymore. So you don't have the chance to evolve to the next level because you're not here anymore. So, of course, that is great, that is super important. But it's an old concept of evolution. And it's an old concept of evolution because it connects to a survival mode. A survival mode is part of a consciousness, so it is a modality that is tapping into different energies for you to make sure that you are here, you are allowed to live in a physical body, in a physical world, and move forward. Great. And and to connect this concept of evolution and to how we use the brain when we are not fully aware of what we are doing is important, because it connects to the topic of manifesting that we talked about last week. So, talking with different people about that, I realized that it's a very common concept when we think about manifesting to just think about manifesting money and wealth as the first topic. So, for example, this is what we do, manifesting money and wealth, when we go to work every day. Is I would say, one of the most common motivations that people have when they wake up in the morning and they go to work, just to make money. Just to make money for
surviving.
For the sake of it.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, it's okay, because of course, in a physical world, you may think that if you don't have money, you cannot afford to buy what you need. Maybe not even what you want. And it's okay, it's true. But the thing is, if that is your only motivation, does it mean that you feel that you are happy when you do it? Does it make you feel happy to wake up every morning and go to your daily job, to your office, or wherever you are going? Maybe you have to travel. Maybe you have to make a lot of effort, to go through that day because you have a very busy day. Does it make you happy to do what you are doing? And this is the point. What is your motivation? What is your reason that is making you getting out of the bed every day just to make money? Or maybe is something else. So yeah, you make money, but what is the purpose behind making that money? What are you doing with that money? So that's let's say an important first step for self-reflection. What is your motivation? Because when I talk to people and to some clients as well, they come to me and they say, I have a very good job. I'm doing a lot of interesting things. I have a very busy day. I have a lot of responsibilities because I am in a very high profile position. And this gives me, of course, power, self-confidence, self-esteem. Is great. I mean, I know I can do it. I know I'm worthy of doing it, and I'm worthy of being in that position. But I am not really happy. So I don't understand why I don't feel happy, because on paper, I've got everything.
Yeah, right.
I'm in the highest position, maybe. I've got everything I could possibly want, but
it's not everything.
I don't feel that fulfillment in my heart. So
it is interesting, because most of the people, I think, are working hard and they think for that position or to achieve what they ever want to achieve, right? And usually in our old beliefs or old school or whatsoever, then people were you know, if you get this position or that job or that amount of money, right, then you will be happy and you reach something. And these days people are reaching that point and they are like, is it really it? Was that worth it? Is that really, you know, what I was working towards my whole life? That's those are pretty heavy topics.
I know, and of course, as I said before, I've gone through this myself. So let's bring in my personal experience. So it is my personal experience. It's not the truth, but it is my vision. So I come from science, medical science. Well, I was working in pharmaceutical and healthcare industry, and I've been working for that for many years. So I've seen many things, many projects, amazing things, and yes, medical science is always evolving. But at some point, I was not fulfilled by what I was doing, because at some point I realized that for me, and I say for me, that was not the highest truth in terms of the way that I thought it was supposed to be. So let's go back to an example that I can share. So it was one of the last projects I was working on, and it was really triggering me. And I couldn't really understand the full picture until probably this morning. Yeah. So going back to the concept of evolution 1 second. So we said that, yeah, at school we learn about Darwin and all this kind of evolution system and mechanisms that, yeah, of course, great, amazing. They are a fundamental survival evolution mechanism to make sure that we are here, because that's the basic. We have to be here. But they are old concepts based on survival. So when we look at the people now in 2019, when we look at the new kids that are coming to this world, we see that there is an increasing amount of young people and new kids that apparently seem to be not really interested in the topics or in the way that we, schools, family, institution, teach them about things. And you can see that they are really, sometimes they are really bored with what we talk about. And if you, I don't know, maybe you have some kids around you, I don't know. But for example, when I talk to my nephew, or I happen to be with other kids around me, or even young people younger than me, I'm like, wow, I can really see that there is a different, I mean, these people are different from how I was when I was their age. And it's not just because there is a gap in the age. And actually, that's not really the point, because if you use this system to compare yourself to a young person, then you would think that because you're older than them, you should be wiser, or you should know things better than them. And that's not really the truth. You find young people and you find new kids that are very, very wise. And of course, they still have their childlike mind and brain, because they have to evolve. But they start from a different level. And that is really what human evolution is about. So, to put everything together, I was one of the projects I was working on was about attention disorders, ADHD, all these kind of diseases that seem to be diagnosed very often now in children, even young adults, but in children. And of course, I was very interested in knowing more about that. So I did study a lot around the topic, reading many, many scientific publications, listening to different opinion leaders with different backgrounds, with different point of views, with different ideas. And I was also connecting to myself and asking my brain what my perspective and vision was about that. And by working on that, I realized that there are really a lot of kids that are judged not, let's say, smart enough, developed enough, or with some problems around the mechanisms in their brain, because they are not able or willing to listening to maybe a teacher or an educational system that is teaching them about science or evolution in the survival mode, which is an old way of teaching people about things. And I was like, that's interesting, because who is right here? I mean, in 2019, nearly 2020, do we really believe that human evolution is about survival? Do we still teach our children that the best and highest mechanism of evolving is fighting for survival, is killing for survival, is being the strongest one so you can be the king? Is about teaching them that power is this? What are we really teaching them? I mean, no wonder they don't want to listen to that. No wonder they get bored, because that's old. We don't need that anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't resonate with them anymore, right? It doesn't resonate with us anymore. I have my best friend, actually. The son is just before school, right? So next year, I think he will start at school. And yeah, he's apparently too active, and he doesn't want to fit in, and he doesn't want to hold hands and stay in the line and stuff like that. And my human part, my energy part is like, of course he doesn't want to do that. Of course it's not, why should I touch the other person if I don't feel like that, right? And things like this. But on the other hand, what is good for the child, I guess it's a completely different series or something, the topic. But it is so important that they want to fit them into a freaking box, and they punish him and humiliate him in front of the whole class. So what do you teach with that? If so, it's like it is annoying. It is really, it's not resonating with me at
It's
all.
triggering you as well, huh?
Yes.
It is. Good.
Good.
So, because of that, I was thinking, wow. And so, who is the wisest here?
Mm.
Is it us punishing these kids for not being interested in these old topics and in these old ways of teaching and learning? And are we really the wisest while we punish them and we say that they are ill and we give them drugs and medicines to force them to listen to these stories? Are we the wisest ones? Or maybe they are the wisest ones because they are born with a higher consciousness. They are born as a more evolved human being that understands already without going through all the pain and suffering and fighting and destruction of the past. They know and understand already that human evolution is based on an evolution of consciousness, of a highest consciousness, of a higher vibration, which is not fight, is not conflict, is not competition, is not violence, is not abuse, is not force. It's just love. It's just love, compassion, joy, happiness, all the positive vibration that we are now allowed to tap into. Who is the wisest? So that was the point for me when I decided that I just couldn't do that, really. That was not my truth. And I started to look into these things deeper and deeper to understand what was not resonating with me. And I started to see that all these old systems, like educational system, political system, social system, healthcare system, they are not working at the highest and best, for the highest and best of people. And that is when I decided that I had to do something. I had to. I could not be part of that system for the way that it was set up anymore. I was not resonating with that anymore, and I had to do something. And that was when my inner conflict started. Because, of course, that was a conflict of a mix of things: identity, values, vision, purpose, but also it was triggering me because I had the fear of not being understood, of maybe become an outcast, maybe not be accepted anymore for my views and my ideas. Which was actually aligning to what my heart was telling me, not what my ego was telling me anymore. And that is the step that is, I think, the beginning of the process of human evolution, when you understand that you have to move to a, let's say, a higher place in terms of vibration. Is not a judgment. It's just a higher vibration from what you have always thought it was right, just because you were taught by someone, by the system, by your family, by everybody else, that that's the way we do it, so that is the right way. And starting to using your brain and discernment to a higher, let's say, potential and degree, and maybe asking yourself just different kind of questions. It doesn't mean that if we have always done things in the same way for centuries, it doesn't mean that it's the right way. Maybe it was in the old age, in the old system, in the old energy. But maybe today and tomorrow, we can find out that there is a better way of doing things. And that is part of the evolution. So there should be nothing wrong with that. So people should not be offended by this concept, this idea. Because if you believe in evolution, then you should also believe that things can change. Ways of doing things can change. Motivations and the reasons why you are doing things can change and eventually evolve to a higher vibration. And the higher vibration, as we said, is love, because that's the energy, that's the glue that keeps everything and everyone together. So going back to the manifesting, if you're manifesting from a place of survival, just because you need that, just because is the way that we do, because, you know, in this world you need money. I mean, that's the rule. Okay, but can you go a little bit further than that? So it doesn't mean that you don't have to manifest money or material things anymore, because we live in a material world. So it's okay for you to have them. It's okay for you to ask them, but just add some higher vibration to it. So the higher vibration would be, don't just ask for more money or for something fancy, because you have to belong to a system that tells you that if you don't earn that much, or if you don't have these kind of things, you are nobody. Don't do that just because you are told that otherwise you don't matter as a human being, that you don't belong to that group anymore, because that's not the truth. Do it, but maybe while you do it and while you enjoy these material things that give you pleasure and happiness, and that's okay, maybe at the same time you are creating a higher value for yourself, for other people, for the world, for your friends, for your family, for everyone, really, for the world. So it's just a matter of going beyond, moving a little bit further, and try to understand that putting some purpose, some higher purpose into the motivation of the things that you do, of the things that you ask for, of the things that you want to have every day, makes your life, your existence, more meaningful, therefore happier. So if you understand that, it means that basically even your concept of manifesting is evolving. So you're not asking for something because you need it. You need it because you have to prove it. You need it because you have to prove yourself to yourself or somebody else. You need to prove that you are good enough. You need to prove that, yes, you are smart enough to be able to complete your checklist every day. And your checklist becomes longer and longer every day, and harder and harder every day, because of course you are in this loop of proving yourself. So you are if you are stuck in that perspective, you will never reach the end, because nothing will never be enough. So you create more challenges to yourself, but you don't have a final end point, because in this mechanism you're basically giving away your power and your discernment to somebody else to judge you and to tell if you are good enough or not. But that's not the highest truth, and that's not really empowering you. And that can also actually become a manipulation, so it can be a dangerous system. And it comes from an energy of competition, an energy of scarcity. And we know that you cannot manifest really anything for your highest and best if you come from a place of scarcity. So it's important to understand that survival means scarcity energy. Instead, abundance is linked to a complete different vibration, which is the opposite of fear. And the opposite of fear, which is the mother of the scarcity and the energy of lack, the opposite of fear is love. Is love, is trust, all the virtues coming from love: compassion, benevolence, joy, happiness, peace, fulfillment. And that place is actually in your heart. And that journey of evolution starts from your heart, starts within your heart, and is guided by your heart desires. Is not coming from your needs from a survival mode. It's a completely different place.
Yeah, and it feels like it, right? So what do I do? Do I go through my list, right, and see, okay, I haven't manifested this and this and this, and dig deeper? Is it maybe because it's not coming from my heart and higher truth, or do I scratch the whole thing and do I start with with a brand new list? Or
So the to-do list, it's a scarcity list. What you want is a wish list.
Okay.
So what is the difference in the energy between the to-do list and the wish list? The to-do list is something that you have to do. When you have to do something, just say it. I have to do this. My God, so annoying, so boring. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, right.
That's why you have to. And of course, yes, in a daily life, there would be something that we have to do that we don't necessarily like. But the important thing for you to be happy and live a happy life is make sure that in your daily life, every day, most of your energy, most of your time is spent by doing things that you love and things that you like, not things that you have to do. And this comes the conflict, in identity and the conflict between the apparent conflict between your brain and your heart.
Mm.
Because we believe that our heart maybe, it has some desires. In our heart, you can feel that we hold the wish list. The wish list is in the heart. When you are thinking of something that you love doing, you're really, I love doing that. It's really in your heart. You can see it. You can feel it. And then your brain goes, yeah, of course, but no, that's not what we do. So just go back to your real life and do what you have to do. And then you go back to the energy of unhappiness and scarcity and having to do things and to-do list. And you actually need the to-do list, because otherwise you will have no motivation of doing those things. Because if you really like doing something, you will remember that.
Yeah,
and you
right.
will really looking forward to do it. Yeah, sometimes you can forget because maybe you are too busy doing so many things that you like that maybe you still need your to-do list, but it's a nice to-do list. I mean, you really want to do it and you're really excited of doing it. So that is the point. Having the courage and the bravery to trust, to go for what you like, what you love. Do what you like and do what you love. And overcome the fears that are keeping you in your comfort zone, which of course, by definition, is a survival mechanism. It's your comfort zone. But actually, if you think about that, your life, your happiness, your desires, your passions, your dreams are outside the comfort zone.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And as I am, I'm a laptop lifestyle architect, I help people to create the online business around their passion. And this is so resonating with me because of that, because so many people think it's like, okay, Margherita, I realize that this is not the way I want to live my life. I don't know, I'm passionate about fishing or whatsoever, right? But you cannot earn money from fishing. But these days, with the power of the internet, right, you can really do anything. You can really do whatever you want to if your passion and energy is behind it. I think it just feels good, isn't it? It just makes everything easier. It's just something what you have to do, and you feel that you are called to do that. And obviously there are always struggles on the way, or things what you need to learn or figure out. But at the end of the day, you are not commuting 4 hours a day. You are not you're working with people you love to work with. You really do that, and from that energy comes always something good, right?
Yes, so that's the point. So for me, of course, it was a huge decision point, let's say, because I then realized that I wanted to do and create something different that really could resonate with me and my heart desires, which were about helping people. Of course, coming from the healthcare industry and having that passion for the medical system and treating people, healing people, curing people. That was, and that still is my passion. So I was like, so my challenge was, okay, how do I do it in a way that really resonates with me? And also because I saw many years, I experienced them myself, of traumas really, going through a lot of procedures and negative experiences, positive experiences as well. There are so many people that are super great in the healthcare industry, and they do a great job with an amazing passion and motivation, and I love them, and I'm so grateful they exist. But the system is too old. The system has to change. And I was like, okay, so what can I do? What can I do? Because I really want to change the system, you know. I really want to change it because I believe that we can help people, we can bring health and well-being and cure the diseases and do something really good, really positive for the world, using a different energy, using different vibrations, using a different sort of and a different source of power. So not just let's say a destructive power, because of course for the body and for the emotional levels and energetical levels that are connecting with our physical body, going through medical procedures, surgeries, treatments, it is a trauma, it is a shock. I'm not saying it's not useful. I'm very grateful for this procedure to exist because they really help you when you are in need of them. But it's not the highest and best. So I believe that we can do it in a new, different way, using a different energy. And I really believe that. And that was when I decided to just trust what my heart and also what my brain was telling me at that point, because they were starting to align. Finally, my brain was fighting this a long time. But at some point, by reading, by learning, by listening to a lot of different people, a lot of different ideas, a lot of different stories, experiencing things myself, my brain decided that, okay, heart, you are the winner. I want to support you and I'm gonna go for that. And I trust you. And so I did that shift. So that's why I decided to trust my intuition, to trust this new evolution system based on higher frequencies, based on love, and make this my full-time job. Mm-hmm. And as you said, at the beginning it was really hard because it's hard when you are nearly the only one in your community, let's say, or in your family, believing in that. it's hard when people that are very close to you, like your family, don't believe in that. It's hard. It's hard when they don't believe in that, because you feel that, and maybe that's just a perspective, that's not the highest truth, but that's just what you feel in that moment, because we are human beings. So part of being human beings is experiences emotions, which is good. Regardless of the kind of emotion is good. So in that moment, I was experiencing a lot of hurt and pain, because of course, when you expect that the closest people to you trust you and believe you, and believe in the same things that you believe in, and you see that maybe they don't, you are like, okay, cool, right? And as a human being, as a 3D human being, in that moment you experience some pain, some disappointment, and you feel that in your ego, because you feel that they are judging you in some ways, and you also feel it in your heart because they are hurting your values and beliefs and wishes. That's from a 3D human perspective. However, if you go to a higher perspective, you see that that is not really the truth. So yeah, that's your experience in terms of feelings as a human being, and it's okay for you to experience these feelings. It's okay for you to go into that emotion. It's okay for you to go into that pain. And it's actually useful for you to go into that pain, because from that pain, you will learn many, many things. For example, you can learn that your motivation to do something else is strong enough to overcome your fears, that you are courageous enough to at least try and see how it goes. Maybe you learn that you are brave enough to do it despite you still feel the fear. And that is good, because that's a beautiful virtue for you to acquire. So, from a higher perspective, you understand that even going through that pain and disappointment and frustration and hurt has some advantages really for your evolution. And sometimes from that higher perspective, you understand that these people are actually reacting in that way to you, so that you can go and learn through that pain in a very fast and quick way. So from that higher perspective, you understand that sometimes as a soul, on the soul level, we decide to experience painful experiences because we learn very quickly from those. Sometimes, maybe it's just a limiting belief that we, of course, can clear, but for many people, this is how it works, or it was the way that it was working until today. You decided on a soul level to go through that painful experience so that you could learn all those lessons and all those virtues in a very short time. Because pain is actually pushing you to go through that so that you can free yourself from pain. You don't want to stay there too long because it's pain. You just want to go back to a happier state. So you are motivated to go through it, to get out of it by learning quick and fast and evolve yourself.
Yeah, right. It's like we all have those friends, right? Who you are just always choosing the wrong guy, right? So you see the pattern from outside, right? And you know, once they learn that lesson, they are ready to move on. But it feels like that life is just throwing you the same experience over and over again, so you can learn from that experience, right? And evolve from there. And that's where I guess, so can we say that life is pushing us towards love and that higher frequencies? Can we say that with all the experiences what we get?
Yes, so I mean, what you were talking about in that example is correct. And it's a perfect example of very common beliefs that run in our mind, subconscious mind or even conscious mind, because you are conscious about that. And we can change them.
Mm-hmm.
So why should you keep learning through painful experiences when you have the power and you have the awareness, and now you have the tools to change that program and transform it into, I can keep develop myself and learn new things and learn new lessons with positive experiences. There
That
is no,
sounds sexy.
yeah, I mean, there is no need to go through all that pain that I used to go through in the past anymore. Maybe that is an old program coming from your ancestors that is passed down to you through the DNA. Maybe it's just something, some residual energy that you still have in your energy field that comes from an historical level, so previous lives or the collective consciousness, and now we can change it. So it doesn't have to be that hard and that painful anymore. And that is why all these new kids, all these young people don't resonate with what we are teaching them, because we are still teaching them the survival mechanism where you have to learn to move really fast and forward through that lesson and through that experience causing you pain, so that you can move to the next level very, very quickly, very, very fast. Otherwise you die. This is not the case anymore. So we have, let's say, an upgraded human being now that knows on a soul level, on a DNA level, on a brain level as well, on a heart level, that we can live our lives with love and joy. And actually, if you have the courage, if you have the bravery, if you trust your heart desires and your wish list so much to do what you really want to do, because you know deep inside your heart, deep inside your body, deep inside your mind, that deep inside your gut even, because your ego knows as well, that this is the right thing for you, this is your path, and you just decide to go for it, you will discover that your life becomes easier. It becomes easier because you are aligned. You are aligned with your purpose. You are aligned with your heart, which is your real guidance. And And yeah, even if you experience some disappointments on this, let's say, 3D physical plane, it's okay. And yes, you will still feel that disappointment, you will still feel that heartbreak, but you will also know that you have the tools to heal yourself, and that you can survive, and that you're actually learning something in the process, and that is not stopping you really, and you can always move forward. And this is teaching you a lot about self-confidence, self-worth, love, respect, integrity, honesty, valuing your values, and valuing and respecting who you really are, which are all important virtues to be learned in this journey. That's why we are here for. This is evolution, really. Evolution is not about being stuck in a survival mechanism. It doesn't work anymore. I mean, we don't need to be in that energy anymore. We deserve something better than that. We deserve to be happy. We deserve to live our lives doing something that we like, doing something that we want. And when you trust all this, when you trust your connection, your feelings, and you really go for it, you really go for what is important for you, you really go and respect your values, you live your life in alignment, everything becomes easier, because you are tapping not only in the law of oneness that we talked about last week, but you are also tapping into another beautiful law, which is the law of the least effort. So things become easier when you are in alignment, and that's the beauty of it. And it means that if you really do, and if you invest, and if you have this purpose, this higher purpose of doing things because you believe in them from the perspective of love, and you follow your heart, and you trust your heart, and you trust the power of your heart, and you just go for it, not only you are doing the things that you love every day, but you will manifest whatever you need and whatever you want for you to keep doing that. Because you deserve it, but also because by doing that, you are also serving other people, because the things that you are doing have a broader meaning, a broader purpose. Maybe they are producing some value, some inspiration, some positive energies that are contagious and can reach out to other people, so that they can be inspired and that they can believe that they could do the same. So the universe will empower you with the things that you need and that you want, for you to keep doing what you like. And that's a beautiful positive spiral. The thing is that if you are stuck in the survival mechanism, in the survival mode, with the energy of scarcity, of lack, of conflict, or, oh, I'm too busy to think about that, I just have to do it, and I have to finish this, and you don't have time for you to use your brain properly to understand what's really important for you to create in your life, to use your brain and align it to your heart and to your other energy centers. So it means that you are not in flow. And if you're not in flow, you're not connected. And if you're not connected, you cannot benefit from all these beautiful energies that the universe is ready and willing to give to you. because you're not connected, you're not open to receive them. So if you understand this concept, you understand why abundance, real abundance, easy abundance, is connecting to love, to the energy of love. And you will understand that the easiest way to manifest what you want is to do what you like, is to do what you love from a honest place in your heart, with a higher purpose, with a higher motivation. And that's the beauty of it. Sometimes people are their own saboteurs in manifesting because they don't understand this concept. And maybe because they have never seen something like this happening in their, I don't know, community, family, circle of friends, they don't believe that this is possible. So, of course, that's a limiting belief, which says, I've never seen it, so it's not possible. That's not the truth. Because, I mean, do you really know all the 7 billions of people that are on this earth? No, you don't. So, I mean, how do you know that nobody out there is doing this? How do you know that it's not possible? And you can say, well, statistics tell me that. Great. Well, statistics is another of my favorite topics. Because of course science is evidence-based, and a way for you to validate evidence-based is using statistics. But the thing is, and here is a challenge for your brain as well, I love doing that. I had so much fun with my own brain by doing this. Is okay, so 7 billion of people, we said, in the world, right? More or less. Okay, so do you really think that a population that is statistically significant is 200 people, 500 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people? I mean, do you really think it's significant? I mean, if you do, it's okay. It's your free choice to believe in that. But if you really ask yourself these kind of questions, you maybe will see that there could be another perspective of looking at things. And maybe you are allowed to challenge the system that we live in. And maybe we can create a better one. So yeah, just use your brain. But using your brain it doesn't mean to use your brain just when you have to drive from one place to the other, or just to, I don't know, make a calculation and some numbers, or using your brain when you have to go to the shop or cross the street. I mean, using your brain in an evolved way is asking yourself these questions and finding your answers by reaching out to different sources, reading things, be open to new possibilities, and trust your intuition, which is a very powerful function of your brain, of your mind. And nobody's really teaching us how to use it. And that is why we have Theta Healing classes, for example. We teach people how to unlock this super powerful tools and capabilities in the mind, in the brain. And it's amazing, so that you can avoid manipulations. You can tap into a higher consciousness. You can tap into these beautiful energies of the universe. You can talk to them. You can receive messages. You can ask questions. And you can find your own alignment and your own path in your life, and create all the beautiful things that you want, and create the life that you want from a different place, from a different energy, which is new. It's not really new, but we were sort of not allowed to use that before, really, and now we are. So just do it. Just go for it. Have the courage to go for it, or at least try to do it. You have always the free choice to come back to your old system. If you want to, if you decide that you feel more comfortable with that. But at least challenge your brain to think out of the box. And maybe you will discover that your dreams, your wishes, your happiness is much closer than what you were used to think, that what you were taught to think. So that's why for me today it was important to talk about these points and to bring in the energy of love into the concept of abundance and manifesting. Because I understood that it's not something that we commonly talk about, and it's also something that is not super straightforward to understand. At least it was not that straightforward to me. So based on my experience, I just wanted to talk about that, just to trigger your brain and to maybe open up a little window so that some more light and information can come in.
I loved it. I loved it. It totally makes sense. And, some of the manifestation techniques, right? What you learn in the quote unquote mainstream, like based on work, right? So it's like write down 100 times this or that, do this and do that. And you want to have that, right? So you want to, but it still feels like, you have to work hard to manifest, and it just doesn't feel right, does it? So I really love that you brought this topic to us today, because it is a huge aha. It is, I think, if someone's already doing it every day, or try to manifest, or heard more already about manifestation, I think this is a 100% what's missing, I guess, from the industry, or from the whole concept. I love that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It was amazing talking to you. And next week, do we know already what we will talk about, or you will surprise us with something?
I don't know. So it's a spontaneous talk. So it depends on what's gonna happen next week. I don't know.
Right. Mirroring is one thing what I would like to talk about. But guys, let us know in the comments if there is something what you would like to like us to talk about, and then we can go from there. So we just feel us into the flow, and we know what message we need to talk about. Right. Thank you very much. Have an amazing one.
You too. Bye.
Bye.